lorazepam. No. Lorazepam. You wanna live in Taiwan? No. You need your family. You do. They give you good values.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. I'm Jay Skeets, here by myself at this desk in the Classic Factory, thankfully over yonder, making the magic happen. Super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Spring break for the guys, getting away with their families before the start of the second season.
100%.
When it comes to the NBA, you and I just got back from a trip to LA/Palm Springs.
That's right.
For Matty O's bachelor party. Good times were had.
Good times were had. Great times were had. I think I'm still hungover.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday.
We are too old for this shit.
Definitely too old.
What was that? I guess we got there Thursday night.
Yeah.
Great dinner in LA. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the server who was a big No Dunks fan at the restaurant Horses.
Yeah.
Awesome meal, by the way.
Yeah.
Then we went to the Comedy Store. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're already going right away. I mean, we hit the ground running.
Literally hit the ground running.
And then it was off to Palm Springs for a fun time at the Airbnb.
Yeah. You went on a hike, but I did not leave that house.
Yeah, you did nothing but enjoy cocktails by the pool.
Cocktails by the pool, in the pool.
And many other things by the pool.
Yes.
I did do a hike. Yeah, completely hungover hike.
I can't believe you did that hike.
Yeah. At one point, I was like, this is a bad idea.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But then I powered through. Luckily, I had my stupid little knapsack with my, water pick.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever the hell it's called.
Hey.
Not a water. What's it called?
The Camelback?
Yeah,
no,
that's
I don't
it.
know.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. The Hydro Flask.
I took down 2 liters in about 15 minutes.
God damn it.
So that was good.
Wow.
And then it was right back to the pool to drink. But we had a blast, and this made me laugh, this tweet, because we had no show on Monday, no show Tuesday, as we got back on Monday and recovered. We had the championship game in the NCAA tournament on Monday night, so we took the day off. But John Arnold writing in, when I have to find something else to listen to because of a healthy and deserved break from my usual Monday pods and Tuesday one, talking about No Dunks, of course. And we've got the meme of the angry little kid doing what appears to be almost like an Easter photo shoot.
Yes.
Congrats. Happy for y'all. Hope Matty O feels loved. Well, I believe he felt loved.
Yeah. I talked to him last night, and yeah, he loved it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was great.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And then the wedding in Montreal right around the corner.
Exactly.
So just another 3-day bender. Looking forward to that.
In Montreal, that's not going to be good. I haven't been in Montreal in a long time, and I love Montreal, and it's going to be messy.
Well, it is snowing today in
today.
Montreal.
It's going to be lovely.
It's going to be a little different weather than Palm Springs is my point.
Yeah,
anyway,
you're right.
We're here. I thought, well, what the hell am I going to talk about? For 40 minutes to everyone by myself. I guess I'll go over the games and maybe I'll do something fun and silly, which we are going to do. But then we had a bunch of big news. But before we get to that, we missed a wedgie last week.
Wow.
You know, they slipped through the cracks.
It does.
And it was from a game between the Jazz and the Rockets, and it was a KJ Martin wedgie. So, I mean, sort of a fairly rare wedgie. And that was on that night when we had a bunch of other ones, so we missed that one, but thank God for Wedgie Tracker. I believe Chrissy Burton contacted Wedgie Tracker, so I think you guys missed one. So there it is. We're up to 45. Had to slip it into the show. That happened a week ago at this point.
They really let it linger, that one.
Yeah,
nice.
It's great.
Nice.
You think the cameraman or the director, they pop in the truck? Because some broadcasts, they crash, Zoom crash to it right away.
Yeah.
Is that what you would do?
Of course. Well, I have a penchant for wedgies, so of course that's all I would care about. Mm-hmm. But yeah, of course, you want to find the ball and find out what happened to the ball, because if you're following the ball the whole time and it suddenly stops and not in a player's hand, it's like, where did it go? And you can almost see it sometimes, the camera goes, whoa,
where is it?
And then crash into it. So
they're just amazing at it. Always blows my mind how quickly they go to it.
Yeah.
Especially on those tight crashes. So good stuff. 45 wedgies, on pace for 50. That's always the goal. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we get, maybe 1 or 2 more before the start of the play-in tournament next week and then the playoffs on the weekend.
Could happen.
There's like 4 nights of just regular season basketball left, which is weird to say out loud because there's tonight, there's Thursday, there's Friday. I think everybody's off on Saturday because then they all play Sunday.
Right.
I think it's one of those weird schedule quirks. So that's 4 days of regular season basketball left.
Wow.
Home stretch.
Damn. And then the season starts.
Then the second season starts. That's right. But we had some insane news, so we got to start with here. Yesterday, the Denver Nuggets fired coach Michael Malone and general manager Kelvin Booth. The stunning moves come with the Nuggets amid a 4-game losing streak. And at the time of the news, they were 4th place in the Western Conference. They've actually now slipped a little bit, but Malone, the winningest coach in Nuggets history and led them to a championship just 2 seasons ago. Hang on. And right on the heels of Taylor Jenkins and the Grizzlies being fired, despite them being in a playoff race and being a solid team, that happened not that long ago as well. So very rare here, but suddenly 2 firings of notable coaches on good teams right before the start of the second season, as we call it. I read Josh Kroenke's statement and then watched a video where he addressed it. I mean, I'll give him credit. He didn't hide or run from this one, but in his statement, he said, quote, "This decision was not made lightly and was evaluated very carefully, and we do it only with the intention of giving our group the best chance at competing for the 2025 title." And he went on to say a lot more and obviously gave a lot of thanks to Malone and Booth for all their hard work. But then I watched the video of Kroenke here explaining the firings, and there were 2 takeaways from it. One, I am pretty damn convinced he basically says without saying, oh, he would have been fired at the All-Star break if we hadn't ripped off an 8-game win streak.
Wow.
Because that's what happened. They were floundering a little bit. We're getting close to the mid-February break. And then they had a very easy part of their schedule. Like, they beat almost no one of note during that 8-game win streak. I remember us talking about it. It was like, that's good. Nice momentum going into the break, but it was 8 straight. It was against the Pelicans, and it was against like the banged up Sixers, and like maybe their quality win was like against the Magic, who did have Paolo and Franz. But anyway, point is, it was pretty easy. They win those 8 straight, and I think ownership, whatever, was like, oh, well, crap, now we can't fire him because now that's going to look really
bad
weird.
Luck.
Yeah. I really do believe he was going to be probably let go at the All-Star break because there's been a lot of turmoil surrounding this team between, Coach Malone and GM Kelvin Booth and sort of like their opinions on the direction and who should be playing and who shouldn't and how they should be playing and all that. And then the second thing Kroenke kept saying in this video, he must have said it 4 times. He kept talking about squeezing the juice out of this roster. He said that at least 3 or 4 times about getting more from this group. Mm-hmm. And you can roll your eyes at that. Like, do you truly believe just bringing in your interim head coach and David Adelman, who's well liked in the organization, but like, I mean, he's going to be running the exact same things and in theory, not getting a whole lot more from these guys unless they suddenly decide to play defense, which would be very weird. But he just kept saying that, like, squeeze the juice.
I can relate to that. I was a real Calvin Booth at the behind the bar at the.
No, you were a Josh Kroenke.
Josh Kroenke.
Yeah.
Because I was cutting the limes.
Yeah.
For margaritas, we had. I'm not kidding. 25 pounds of limes on hand.
Yeah, there were 125 limes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I was on cutting duty, and I was giving it to our man Zach to squeeze the limes, and I'm sending them back. I'm like, bro, you got to squeeze more juice out of these limes.
God. Well, I also did a shift of squeezing lime juice.
I know.
And mine there's nothing left in them.
I think you might have broken the machine. You were like too.
Well, I was told it was an industrial juicer, and I put it to the test.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what he kept saying here. And it's very strange. The strange part of all this, I mean, you've heard it a million times by now. It's just the timing of it. Like, no one would have blinked an eye if the Nuggets lost in the first round or flamed out in the second round, and then they fire Coach Malone and fire GM Kelvin Booth, like during the off season. No, like nobody would care. But to do it now, thinking like, I don't know, it's gonna like save your season, salvage your season. I actually look at it from the opposite perspective. I think even in Jenkins and the Grizzlies, and now here with Malone and Nuggets, it's sort of like, it's like an easy way out. It's like now they could easily bow out in the first round, and it's like, oh, what do you expect? They fired their coach a week before the start.
Yeah.
It's like they saw the writing on the wall. Didn't have a lot of confidence in said squad. Didn't like how the last couple months have been going, or at least amid this losing streak as well, and just defense has fallen off the cliff. We're not going to beat anyone of note. We're not winning another title.
Yeah.
We're wasting Jokic's prime, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, well, just fire the coach. And in this case, fire the GM. And it's like season's done. And now it's like, oh, we're playing with house money. Like, if we win a game, we win a series, we win 2 series. Look at that, incredible.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like almost like you're playing 2K or something, and you're pissed off, and you're like, I'm just gonna reset it.
Yeah,
you can't like rage quit.
100%.
I get the feeling of that from both of these.
Yeah, or
which is weird.
This isn't as likely. They're looking for like a post-coach firing glow-up, which sometimes happens, right?
Yes.
Like, we're all just going to band together and we're going to do this.
I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he's trying to sell it as. Like they've tuned Malone out. Now Malone, again, he was there for a decade. So he was one of the longest tenured coaches. He doesn't mince words, and I think his frustration was boiling up more and more as the season went on. And if you saw his press conferences, you heard his press conferences, it was getting more into like, I don't know what else to tell these guys besides play harder defensively, or at least follow the rules we're telling them to do, and they're not doing it.
Right.
And, he was basically starting to call the players out. And that's never good. Never good. But from what I can remember, a lot of the players were always like, yeah, I mean, he's right. They've told us what to do, and we can't do it for whatever reason.
Right.
And it's this whole thing of like, probably Booth and Malone equally to blame here for these disappointing seasons, or this season. Booth not getting an elite supporting cast around the best player in the world. I mean, he's botched it in a lot of his decisions. And then Malone not getting, obviously, a half-decent sort of, especially defensive performance out of this squad.
Right.
But it's a little bit of the chicken and the egg here, right? And this is where they were butting heads, I think.
Yeah.
Booth saying, why aren't you playing these young guys? Why aren't you giving them an opportunity to grow? Maybe they'll give you a little more juice defensively, blah, blah, blah. And then Malone turning around and going, these guys aren't good. And maybe why don't you do a better job of keeping the vets that we used to have, getting better players to put around the best player in the world. Like, they're both right, I guess. Yep. I mean, maybe. I think if I were to pick one or the other, I would lean towards more Malone being right. And like, your roster construction sucks, dude. But then again, he's like probably a little. And they were having that like success. I remember us talking about it, was like the young guys were getting more minutes. They were getting a bit of an opportunity, and maybe this was going to pay off down the line. But again, maybe it was all fool's gold, pun intended. Nuggets mining with the schedule and who they were playing. Very weird. And really now it just means like you're never safe as a coach. Not that you ever were. But it gets even crazier now if you can be fired in the last week before the playoffs start, when you are a playoff team. And some of us were still convinced, like, things break are okay. You got the best player in the world. You got a chance in any series. So why couldn't they go very far? But for the last 6 coaches to win the NBA Finals, no longer with the team with which they won a championship. Nick Nurse with the Raptors, 2019. Frank Vogel with the Lakers, 2020. Mike Budenholzer with the Bucks, 2021. And then Michael Malone with the Nuggets now in 2023. So sleep with one eye open.
Exactly.
Steve Kerr and Joe Mazzulla. Kerr, you're fine. Like, there's 3 coaches that are grandfathered in.
Right.
It's Pop, it's Kerr, it's Spoelstra. That's it. Everybody else, you can be gone like that.
Yeah. What have you done for me lately?
It's literally what have you done for me lately. And if it's not that, it's like, stop bickering.
Right.
with the GM, because there's a lot of reports, and The Athletic did some good work, that there had been a significant frustration within the locker room with how the Nuggets, of course, were playing, particularly defensively. They were 20th in defensive rating. And we were even seeing clips of Jokic, who's generally like Tim Duncan for the most part, is like, pretty, not a high maintenance superstar.
Yeah.
But we were starting to see clips of him on the sidelines, mid-game, vocalizing to anyone within earshot, like, what the hell are we doing? Like, the frustration was there.
Yep.
with the lack of defense. And again, this idea that the roster construction to the way players were being used, it was creating a tension that started to bleed into the organization. So this idea of like, okay, these guys are bickering, that's one thing, and they're not seeing eye to eye, and now that's like, it's leaked its way into the locker room and onto the floor and
Sure.
all of that. Big questions from this, though. What does this mean for Jokic's future with Denver, or at least the rest of this team? Because people think, well, like now, whoever comes in here as the GM, big decisions to make. I mean, you're going to have to, in theory, you're going to have to trade either Michael Porter Jr. or Jamal Murray if you're not trading Jokic, which I don't think you would. But then again, we just saw Luka Doncic traded earlier this year. They have zero meaningful trade assets, really, when it comes to draft picks. They have one tradable first rounder, which is like in 2031, or will probably be kicked to that. Some ill-advised contracts, and they're looking at a very restrictive CBA. So you're handcuffed to what you can do. And then the other part is when it comes to like who's coming in here to run the ship, this organization historically does not pay well for top front office talent. And this is like something they've done time and time again with executives that win Executive of the Year and maybe want the pay bump, and then they're gone. I mean, we saw it even with Masai Ujiri. And obviously Tim Connolly then moving on. And it's like, so it's like sort of this crunky sort of mentality of like, we'll pay for the right players, which they have. They've put a lot of money. Maybe they weren't the right players to give sort of max money to, but they will pay for talent. But they do not like to pay, you'll hate to hear this, JD, for the producers and the directors, all the money going to the talent, which I love to hear. No,
I hate to hear it.
No, I hate to hear it.
Story of my life.
Yeah. So it's weird. So that's one thing. What do they do? What will they do in the offseason, and who will be in control of those decisions? And then maybe, you spin it to who else is on the hot seat in the NBA when it comes to coaches. Popular names are Budenholzer with the Suns, another 1 year and done. I mean, it could be. Doc Rivers with the Bucks, if they have a very rough playoffs, they're getting it going right now. We'll talk about last night's comeback and game. Nick Nurse, maybe with the Sixers. He has a lot of excuses because of injuries, but you never know. And then a popular one that people are throwing out is Tom Thibodeau with the Knicks. Now that one, you're like, this is like the most success the Knicks have had since like the 90s in terms of regular season wins. But, if it's like a really drastic, like bad playoff loss, I think it's possible. And especially when you consider like these names that are now on the market. That's the other part of this.
Right.
Malone, people think he's a good coach. Jenkins, people think he's a good coach. So some of these organizations may think, oh, there's an upgrade there. Willie Green's name maybe as well. But again, that's injury. My final, Chris Finch, I guess we could throw in there too, with the Wolves after what happened last night. I think Ziller joked this morning, could Chris Finch now be fired during a timeout? That was the running bit. Like, how far is this going to go? Like, coaches fired during the play-in tournament. Coaches fired down 2-0 in a playoff series. During a timeout, as Ziller joked. So
walking into the arena.
Oh, yeah.
Could you follow me for a second, please, Richie?
Ooh, yeah.
Can you...
Just come here, before we start this game. My final thought on this, and I know the stream team's chiming in on whether this was deserved or how surprising it is, and whether the Nuggets can squeeze some juice out of this roster here still. Never, ever underestimate the impatience and impulsivity of the extremely rich.
Yes.
And I think that's like, so there was an article in The Athletic, like, could this be a trend? Like, could we start to see this more? On one hand, you're like, no, I mean, this, like, okay, it happened twice in a week. It's strange that they're 45-plus win teams, and they are good teams and had a lot of postseason success before and thought they could go deep again. But maybe when you get these younger, richer owners who have made all their money on, like, not snap decisions, but like, why not now? If we're going to do it in the summer, why don't we just do it now?
Yeah.
That maybe this will become more common. I sort of believe that to some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So we'll see if it has any impact on the Grizzlies turning or saving their season in the playoffs, and the same with the Nuggets here. If either of these teams can even avoid the play and get into the actual playoffs. And let's get into some of the games from last night. There was a ton on, and there's actually a lot of noteworthy things. We'll start with SGA scoring 42 as the Thunder topped the Lakers, got a little revenge, 136 to 120, one of the big games while we were gone on the weekend. Lakers took care of business, beat the Thunder handedly. It was very impressive. But OKC, again, sort of gets them back last night. But what kicked off the big win was Luka's ejection with about 7:40 to go in the fourth quarter. JD, I don't know if you saw this, but Luka made a jumper over. It was a tightly contested jumper. It was a tough jumper going back. It gave LA the lead, 108-107. Luka then turned to the sidelines. He turned around and said something to someone.
Okay.
Luka says, I was talking trash with the fan, who I always talk trash with there.
Yeah.
And the referee, JT Orr, didn't know that, didn't recognize it, or didn't care because he thought he was looking in my area. He's looking at me. He's saying his whatever he's saying, his junk, his expletives.
Yeah.
And that's when Orr immediately gave him the second tech. And because it was his second tech, he was ejected. That first one, the first tech he got was from JT Orr. And that one was more, Luka wasn't talking to a fan on that one.
Right.
He was talking to JT Orr.
Yeah.
And he was actually complaining about a foul call that wasn't even on him.
Right.
He was like, hey, Vanderbilt got hit on the head. F-bomb this, F-bomb that, or whatever he said. And that got the first one. But this second one, he and the Lakers and the coaching staff, they're like, he wasn't even talking to the ref.
Right.
He was talking to the fan.
But the ref was in the vicinity.
He was. He wasn't on the other side of the floor. So when he looked back to talk his junk,
yeah,
I guess JTR was in his feelings.
Wow. Yeah.
And thought, well, you're dropping F-bombs or whatever you're saying.
Right.
And are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? Yeah. And gave him the second tee.
Maybe he's got a delicate constitution when it comes to F-bombs and stuff.
It could be.
Could be.
Crew chief Tony Brothers told a pool reporter that Luka drew that second technical because he looked directly at an official and used vulgar language. So that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
So people are obviously, again, OKC goes on to win the game. This put the Lakers up, and then OKC ended it in great style. And they may have won the game anyway because SGA sort of did the takeover mode.
Yeah.
So who knows? But they outscored them 28-13 the rest of the way and got the victory. So on one hand, it's like, oh, that's bad officiating. If he really isn't talking to you, and even the fan, they found the fan. He's a guy that sits courtside all the time. I think he's goes by tattoo guy or something.
Oh,
He's always there,
right.
And he has this history of barking with players and specifically Luka. So maybe the official should know that. But then the counter is, it's a little you're always complaining and always crying and maybe always dropping F-bombs. It's I don't care if it was at me or not.
Right.
I gave you the first one earlier in the game.
Yeah.
I obviously gave you a warning. I think someone for the Lakers even said, and you could argue that this is not great to hear from an official, but he's like, I'll hear from anybody else on your team in regards to a complaint, but not him.
Yeah. I'm
tired of his bullshit. And if that's the case, and that message was relayed, then it's okay, Luka, you got to be a little more careful.
Yeah, control yourself a little.
A little bit about that. But he's like, I'm controlling myself. I can talk to a fan, can't I?
Well, Luka, maybe you can't actually. Maybe rein it in a little. If you have one tech already.
Well, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. You maybe want to keep your mouth shut.
Maybe.
But then again, this is what we love about the NBA.
Exactly.
That you can even do this.
Yeah.
Talking back and forth in a respectful manner. And again, there was nothing he was saying something offensive. This guy, by all accounts, decent heckler, I guess.
Right, exactly.
In fact, I'd say a brilliant heckler after last night.
Exactly. One of the best. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
Put him in the Hall of Fame. He got the guy tossed and his team won. Yeah, I see both sides. Okay, yeah, you got to be a little smarter with that. But then it's I wasn't talking to you, man. You're in, it's not about you, JT Orr. Okay?
Not everything is about you.
No.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But a lot of officials I know, everything is about them. There's a reason why they're officials.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, entertaining game. It would have been fun to see Luka, of course, play the rest of it and see how it would have unfolded. But OKC gets it done, and they look damn good for a team that's got nothing to play for. They had a couple bad losses on the weekend, but this was a good one, and maybe get a little more momentum going in, and they'll just wait to see who they're playing after the play-in. Let's move to the Wolves blowing a 24-point lead in the fourth quarter to the Milwaukee Bucks. They now tumble to the 8th spot in the West. We'll show you the standings in a second, but Milwaukee was down 95-71 with less than 10 minutes to go. And then they scored 23 straight points. They tied it up 97 all on an AJ Green three-pointer in the corner with like 3:36 left. And this was wild to watch because the Bucks just like implemented a 2-3 zone and the Wolves forgot how to play basketball. It always blows my mind. This is when NBA basketball looks the most like high school basketball or even grade school basketball, like when a team like just like throws a full court press on or a zone. Yeah. And it's like the other team like panics. They don't know what the hell to do. The Wolves had like, I think 6 just brutal turnovers down the stretch in the clutch. Randall throwing it away, Ant throwing it away, DiVincenzo, McDaniel. So everybody was guilty, but they didn't know what to do against the zone. It was so weird. Credit to Kevin Porter Jr., who felt like he was everywhere in that zone. He was like all over the place and came up with a lot of those steals, and then he was dunking everything in transition. Bobby Portis back for the Bucks. That was good for them. 18 points, 10 boards. He had missed 25 games with that suspension. But man, this felt like a bit of a microcosm of the Wolves season. It's like they look like unbeatable at times, and then within the same game look like complete garbage.
Yeah.
And they're going to be a fascinating team to figure out in the playoffs or play in. But what a comeback. But 24 points, 10 minutes to go. You almost feel pretty good at packing up your stuff and trying to beat the Milwaukee traffic. I don't know what Milwaukee traffic is like. I don't think it compares to LA traffic that we were in a couple times. But
no. But, you know, you like to get the kids, you know, kiss the kids goodnight and stuff. So you get out as quick as you can.
I mean, we've said it before. You can't leave a game, though.
You can't.
You can't. This is a perfect example. Yeah. At least not with 10 minutes to go. It's an eternity.
Exactly.
And it was tie game in 7 minutes. This is the thing. Like, it was like that. So, wild stuff. Not good for Chris Finch. I didn't love his post-game comments. Like, they're almost doing the, like, because they were on a bit of a win streak, and they had found their footing a little bit, and they're like, it's sort of like, meh, crap happens. It's like, okay. Yeah, but, you know, maybe figure out how to beat a zone.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Think you guys know how to, and it's not working. Just weird to see. And good stuff from the Bucks, and they're feeling good. Place was going bonkers, the people that stuck around. And again, like I said, Giannis had a triple-double. I didn't even say that, but that's like a given at this point. So Bucks win. Those two teams, we're going to do like random NBA awards a little bit later. There'll be a category about like confusing teams. I think these are the two at the top of my list.
Yeah.
I swear you could convince me the Wolves and the Bucks lose in the first round, or they can go all the way to a conference finals. Wow. Like, if not further, maybe. Like, they're just they look really good at times and look complete garbage at other times. But bad loss from the Wolves, not a good look from Finch. And he'll probably be fired in 4 hours or something like that, the way this is going. So let's show you the Western Conference standings, a bunch of other things to go over. Rockets clinched the number 2 seed thanks to the Thunder's win over the Lakers. Lakers lead over the Nuggets and Clippers for the number 3 seed is down to 1 game. Clippers beat the Spurs. They're now up to 4th by way of a 4-way tiebreaker that you see there, 4, 5, 6, 7. Warriors remain at number 6. You got the Nuggets at 5. I skipped over them because of these tiebreaker and various results. Grizzlies dominated the Hornets. They improved to the number 7th seed with a 1-game lead over the Wolves. Kings, they're locked into the play-in tournament spot thanks to the Suns' loss to the Warriors. And those Cancun Suns, they lost so badly that they're now 3 games behind the 10th seeded Mavericks. It's looking like the Suns have decided, like our guys, Trey and Tass, let's hit the beach.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's get there early. Let's beat the rush. So that's the standings as of today here on Wednesday, April 9th, with a few days left. One note from the Grizzlies game, pretty scary moment. Grizzlies rookie Jaylen Wells, he broke his right wrist on a very hard fall on his arm and sort of his head from a midair collision at the end of a fast break dunk last night. This was scary for a good, until we got the results, like for at least a good 30 to 40 minutes when you didn't know how serious it was, because the Hornets, KJ Simpson, he's like trying to track down on the fast break and maybe prevent an easy dunk or something like that. And he inadvertently undercuts him trying to catch up to the play. It's almost like Simpson like hustled back, thought about trying to make a block, and then sort of was like almost very early when he jumped was like, I'm not going to get to that.
Yeah.
Almost tried to duck out of any contact, and I think his legs like clipped Wells. Wells somehow finished the dunk. It went in, and then on the fall landed again sort of on his side or on his wrist, of course, that he broke, and like his head. And it was the head that was like the real scary issue.
Yeah.
Because you're like, he didn't move.
For a long time.
And he laid there for a long time. And, Simpson immediately checked on him. But it was like, but then in come the Grizzlies player, like, get away. Because, you don't know how seriously he's injured or not. But he was visibly distraught.
Yeah.
That arena was silent. Yeah. Dead silent. He was down for about 10 minutes, Wells was. They finally got him onto the stretcher, got his head immobilized, and then he was taken to the hospital. So, again, it looked really, really, really bad. And you're like, God, don't be like anything more serious than what it was. Like, in the end, he's on Instagram. His dad said, look, he's shaken up. Maybe he has a concussion, whatever.
Did he lose consciousness?
That I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
he was not moving.
He was not moving. At the hospital, though, he was like, what's the score of the game? Like, he knew where he was.
Okay,
he knew what was going on. And then he had the broken wrist, of course.
Yeah.
So he'll be done for the season with that. But thank God it was nothing more serious than that.
Yeah. Scary stuff.
And, Simpson, they went and reviewed it in flagrant 2, and he's ejected and all that. And, he's not putting up a fight to that.
Yeah.
Like, he knew how inadvertently reckless it was.
Yeah.
But again, I do believe he, tried to avoid it.
Yeah.
When he no, and then clipped, because he fell too.
Right.
And sort of their bodies getting intertwined with their lower legs. So.
And he's almost reaching out to him after the fall.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. He knew right away. He's like, crap.
Yeah.
And I guess they're friends too. They've known each other for a while. So, prayers up for Wells, and happy to hear it is legit just a broken wrist, and that he should be obviously back next season. Can't imagine he's going to be back during the play-in tournament or whatever, the Grizzlies, however they go far. But he will be in the running for Rookie of the Year. I don't think he's ultimately going to win, but I think he'll finish top 4 or 3, probably top 3. Great start to his season, cooled off as it went on, but unfortunate way for that to end. Moving to the East, Porzingis, Tatum, coming through in the clutch. Big 3-pointers. Celtics beat the Knicks again. 119-117, but it took overtime. This one was close. Baby steps for the Knicks. They still can't beat these elite teams, but they didn't get crushed like they had in the previous 3 games against Boston. The Knicks actually took a 3-point lead on a Josh Hart basket with 11 seconds remaining in regulation. They chose not to foul, and Tatum splashed a 3. He was a hell of a step back. I mean, OG was guarding him all night as well as you can, but Tatum just kept hitting ridiculous shots. So that tied it up at 107. Hart had a look then at the end of regulation. Not a bad look, but couldn't knock down the 3. In overtime, Porzingis hit the biggest shot of OT. 40 seconds to go. He had a bomb. He had 34 points, 8 made threes. And then he did a good job defending on the perimeter against Brunson. On the next possession, he forced a missed shot from deep. The Knicks retained the ball, though. And then that's where the play where Cat passed it to Mikal Bridges in the corner, and Bridges did the whole thing where he just took his eye off the ball for a second, bobbled it out of bounds, and that was sort of the game. Then it was free throws, and it was over. So, I mean, Knicks fans are going to be upset they lost and had chances to win. There was a play where Towns fouled Tatum as well on a 3 late in regulation. He hit 2 of 3, and then we got to the whole situation where he then buried the 3 to tie it up. You lost, but you were in it. So, again, there's something to take from it. Cat played a lot better. He had struggled against the Celtics, so he had a monster game at least. I hate saying this with Cat, but he tends to have monster first halves and then cools down. Though there were a couple times, he got a smaller guy on him, and he went to work. Even Tatum, who's a big dude too, but Cat's just so much bigger. Just put him in the basket a couple times, so that was good to see. For the Celtics, Jaylen Brown didn't play a lot. Struggled during the time he was out there. He has a knee injury right now. I wonder if they'll just shut him down for the rest of the season. Now, I mean, they're locked into their number 2 seed. They're not going anywhere. Maybe you get him some more rest in addition to the play-in week. That's a whole other week. So he should be probably good to go by the postseason. But he looked rough. He looked like a guy that was injured, and then they just shut him down. I don't think he played the final 17 minutes or so. This was going around last night, though. Tatum, since shot tracking began in 97, 65 NBA players have taken at least 50 shots to tie or take the lead in the last 24 seconds of the fourth quarter or overtime. Tatum had a few of those in this game. Tatum has the third best field goal percentage in such a scenario. Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan, and Jason Tatum. And fourth on the list, not this guy, Rudy Gay. Anybody but this guy.
Thanks for not making me try to guess.
No. It would have taken a while to get to Rudy Gay, I think. But that's wild. I mean, the percentage is low for all of these guys. Like, we're talking like it's in the, I think it's for all of them in the 30s. It's like, I think Tatum's like 36, 37%, which is obviously a bad percentage. But then again, when you consider it's like the last 24 seconds of a tight game to take the lead or tie it. I mean, that's obviously the defense is locked in, all eyes on you as a superstar player. So to hit even over a third of them in those scenarios is pretty incredible. So anyway, that was a fun little stat. So he's clutch is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
He's very clutch.
For sure.
Coming through. One funny moment from this game. I should have grabbed the clip for you, JD. You would have had a good laugh. Kevin Harlan was doing an ad read.
Oh.
This is what he reads. I won't try and do a good Kevin Harlan impersonation, but he says, "The NBA on TNT is brought to you by the new crispy tenders at CarMax." What? Wait a minute. Hold on. Are they serving tenders with cars? And then him and Reggie go back and forth. "We just had the marriage of two different sponsors and it was ugly." And then they did a bit going back to it. Anyway, I don't know what the hell happened here.
Wow.
It really feels like somebody did it on purpose.
I mean,
to get him, but the guy's such a pro that he makes it into a whole damn bit, and it was going viral.
Wow. I mean, what a way to end the Tuesday night
TNT broadcast. That's right. They raised they raised all their jerseys I saw in the studio.
Oh, did they?
The rafters and Lefko's turtleneck, which is pretty funny. Yeah. New crispy tenders at CarMax. And even he started making the joke, like he sort of stopped midway. He's like, "Do you think of a car made out of crispy tenders? Or do you think a car full of crispy tenders?"
Car full.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sunroof pouring out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the new rookie prank next year.
Oh,
Forget
oily
popcorn.
Damn. I guess popcorn can... Crispy tenders ruining your car more than popcorn.
Yeah.
Unless it's buttered. It'd be a mess.
Would you rather have your car smell of popcorn or chicken tenders? Now, your car probably already smells of chicken tenders.
I think I go popcorn, and
I think so too.
I love tenders, but popcorn's a good smell. It's a better smell.
I'm never mad when I smell popcorn. Never.
Anyway, amazing moment from Harlan, and yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess that TNT, that Tuesday night's done.
Yeah, done.
Jesus. What's our guy Lefko going to do?
I don't know.
I mean, he's got the podcast with Shaq still.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of other things, I'm sure. Lefko, come on, No Dunks.
Yeah.
Eastern Conference standings. We'll show you the breakdown after everything last night. Cavs clinched the number 1 seed. They punked Trey Kerby's Chicago Bulls. So they got that. Celtics locked in at number 2. Pacers beat the Wizards. Pulls them within 2 games of the number 3 Knicks. Bucks moved 2 games ahead of the Pistons for number 5. Magic beat the Hawks, Sad Kaka, securing the tiebreaker. They moved 2 games up in the race for number 7, and the Bulls drop into a tie with the Heat, but remain at number 9 by way of the tiebreaker. I feel very confident in saying that right there, that's your Eastern Conference matchups. I think we're good to go. I think it's going to be Magic taking the Hawks in the 7-8 game. The loser will obviously get one more crack at the winner of the Bulls versus Heat, because that's going to be that game. And I think it is set here that 3-6, 4-5 is Knicks Pistons, and then Pacers Bucks. I think we're there.
Okay.
And which I love. I love those. I can't wait for Knicks fans to freak out when the Pistons steal a game in Madison Square Garden in one of the first 2. Legit can't wait. It's going to be great. And Pacers Bucks, let's go. Pacers beat them last year. Bucks say we didn't have Giannis. It's a different series if we do, so we'll get to see if Giannis and the Bucks can get some revenge. So I think that's great. And then obviously the Cavs and Celtics waiting for the sort of poopy play-in teams.
Right.
Yeah. I guess a small part of me once again hoping the Hawks win the 7-8 matchup, become the 7th seed, take on the Celtics again, because I'll be in Boston for the opening weekend of the playoffs, as I am every couple seasons because of the Boston Marathon, and could maybe go watch a game again.
Well, I think you could watch a game regardless in Boston.
I could, but I could watch the Hawks.
Yes.
And I have hookups with Hawks.
Okay. That's
more
what
I'm getting at. Yeah, I guess a long time ago, who did I see? I want to say I saw Celtics Pacers round 1, game 1 or game 2. That was a long time ago. I think that's who I saw. Sat right by Larry Bird though. Yeah.
Wow.
And Nora came with me. She's like, "Is that Larry Bird?"
Damn.
I'm like, "Yeah, not a lot of people look like Larry Bird." That's definitely Larry Bird. I felt very confident. But yeah. So we'll see. But though I think we got the East basically done.
Okay.
And even the play-in, I don't think there's going to be, maybe to see who hosts that 9-10 game between the Heat and the Bulls. But otherwise, I think the Magic hosting the Hawks there in the 7-8. Okay, let's switch it up. That's last night's games. I thought doing something fun here, doing the sort of solo pod, that later this week, because I'm doing a couple of these with just you, JD, that we'll hand out some real NBA awards. Might even do a check the polls, get the people's opinions on who should win MVP, who should win, obviously, rookie and most improved and all that stuff.
Okay.
But to get us in the mood, and inspired a little bit, I'll be honest, by Zach Lowe's return and Bill Simmons' latest podcast, I have crafted some random NBA awards, all inspired, though, by Tim Robinson's hit sketch comedy show, I Think You Should Leave.
Random!
Random NBA awards, fake NBA awards, made up NBA awards, whatever you want to call them. This is not a unique idea.
No.
But the awards are. They're different than a majority of other ones you've heard, maybe on some of those other pods. And welcome back, Zach Lowe. Zach Lowe, I got to say, though, you can tell this guy's been gone for way too long because he fired up the emergency podcast for Michael Malone getting fired.
Oh.
Which, as we led the show with, very strange timing, a lot to unpack. Even Zach Lowe, before he left ESPN, was alluding to some turmoil in the organization.
Sure.
So sort of he was all over it. I was like, oh yeah, that's a guy that has not podcasted in a while.
That's right. He's itching.
There's no way he's doing an emergency podcast if he had been podcasting all season long. No. Not a chance. Not a chance.
No.
But God bless him.
Maybe he's in his contract. He has like a minimum 10 emergency podcasts a year.
Oh wow!
So just front load him, you know.
Oh, smart if that's the case.
Yeah, pretty smart.
Smart. But Matt Moore was on with them, who obviously covers the Nuggets. So longtime blog boy, Matt Moore. It was very good. Anyway, we're giving out awards here, okay? And I've got some awards, and they're all inspired by scenes from I Think You Should Leave. And our first one, the sketch that inspires our award, is from Baby Cries, Season 2, Episode 2.
Let him hold the baby. People can change. I used to be a piece of shit. Spiked up blonde hair, little bitty jeans, chicken spaghetti at Ciccolini's. People can change. Let the boy hold the baby.
Let the boy hold the baby, okay? People can change. This is the biggest turnaround award. And I've got a team and I got a player. The team, Detroit Pistons. No team in league history had more than tripled its victory total from one year to the next, and that's what the Pistons did this year. Last season, they were 14-68. NBA's worst record. They had the all-time losing streak, which I tell every time we bring it up, gets forgotten for some reason. But it's pretty impressive to lose that many games in a row in today's NBA when there is a bunch of other bad teams. But 14-68, so what do? They hire JB Bickerstaff. Turns out having a coach that wants to coach, that helps. They added a group of helpful veterans, Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dennis Schroeder coming at the deadline. They prayed that Cade Cunningham could stay healthy and, again, surround him with shooters. That would open things up and open his game up. And it has. Since January 1st, Pistons top 3 defense in the league, an incredible record. And it's been awesome to watch. And it's fun having Detroit back in the mix. It's been so long since we got to talk about them in a positive light. And a lot of us that kept Cade Cunningham stock and still believed that it wasn't really him as much as it was his team and the structure and organization around him, that once he got something competent in place, he would flourish, and he did, and he has, and I'm excited to see them in the postseason. So the Pistons, biggest turnaround. They used to be pieces of shit.
Yeah.
But people can change.
I wish that we had a physical trophy and it was a baby for them to hold.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be great.
Send Cade Cunningham, a giant baby. That baby's huge in that sketch.
It really is.
That baby's 4 years old. But in regards to players, I'm going to go with Austin Reeves. Now, I don't think he's going to win Most Improved. I think there's other guys that are well deserving, and again, we can do that later in the week. But Austin Reeves is averaging 26-5 in 70 games plus, shooting above average from deep. He's had 3 30-point games over the last basically a week and a half. So he's like ramping it up here now that he's getting more comfortable with LeBron, Luka, and him, which makes the Lakers like a dynamite team. You got 3 guys that can really handle the ball and create like that. And I say he's a big turnaround because I got to be honest. I thought he was a couple years ago getting overblown. Like I thought people were like getting a little too excited about how good he was or his potential. I thought Lakers sensationalism was taking hold here. And it's like, cause he plays for the Lakers, people are talking to themselves into this guy maybe being an all-star and stuff like that. But I think I was wrong. You know, his production plateaued last year, and this year it's sort of shot up again, especially recently. And in the last 30 years, only 2 other undrafted players have averaged at least 20 points per game in a season. Fred VanVleet, 20.3 for the 21-22 Raptors. And Mike James, also for the Raptors.
Wow.
Back when I was going to games, 05-06, 20.3. He averaged as well. So Reeves is very likely going to become the 3rd undrafted guy to average 20 in a season. He's good. I was wrong. He's in fact very good. Will he? I'm seeing people, this guy's going to be a 4-time All-Star. I would slow your roll on that. But does he have an All-Star season or 2 in him? Yeah, he might. He definitely might. He's really, really good, and he's turned it around. That's to me, at least. Our next one. The sketch is Pay It Forward, Season 3, Episode 3.
Hi, can I take your order?
55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, 55 pies, 55 cokes, 100 tater tots, 100 pizzas, 100 tenders, 100 meatballs, 100 coffees, 55 wings, 55 shakes, 55 pancakes, 55 pasta, 55 peppers, and 155 taters.
100 tenders. Could fill a car with that.
Oh, yeah.
This is the most insane box score award, right? All those numbers. It feels like some of these box scores we've seen this year. 4 nominees. And then a 5th sort of surprising one. But the 4 nominees for the most insane box score, a.k.a. the 55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos. Giannis versus Detroit, mid-November. We got to go way back for this one. He's the only player to crack 100 in ESPN's like fantasy value for one particular game. He scored 100 in a game in ESPN fantasy basketball, but he had 59 points on 21 of 34 shooting. He was 16-17 at the line. He had 14 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. Now, it's funny because I don't have my eye on the stream team right this second, but I'm sure people are saying, well, what about his game he just had? He had one where he went for 35 points, 17 rebounds, and 20 assists. Also good. But that 59-point game, that's pretty damn impressive. And just the percentages. And I had forgotten about it. So many batshit crazy things have happened this season. I was like looking at it. I was like, when the hell did he do that? Oh, mid-November, an eternity ago.
Yeah.
Jokic, he has like 5 box scores you could pick from, but let's go with his fairly recent 61, 10, and 10 in double overtime versus Minnesota in a loss, which is very weird, but we've talked about it before. A lot of Jokic monster box score games, they sort of come in losses because he doesn't want to have to score that much. And when he does, maybe things aren't happening well for the rest of the team. 61, 10, and 10. Yeah. Luka Doncic, when he played for the Dallas Mavericks, earmuffs, Mavs fans, versus the Warriors mid-December. 45 points on 16 of 23 shooting, 13 assists, 11 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Super efficient 45-point game from him. And then final one, Steph Curry, on the same night that Jokic posted 61, Curry went nuts against the Grizzlies. 52 points thanks to 12 three-pointers made, 8 of 8 at the line. He had 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals, and 1 block. So Giannis, Jokic, Luka, and Curry are the 4 nominees.
Well, how are we picking this? I mean, at first I was like, this is gonna be like the Billboard Awards, where it's literally the highest sell, you know. But
how do you?
How do you do this?
How do you do this? How do you
tease it out?
Yeah, I know. Because I mean,
if it's in a loss, I think you can't.
Yeah.
Right?
So we scratch Jokic off.
Yeah.
I think the others all came in wins.
Okay.
Is it weird? It's weird I want to give it to Curry, despite scoring less points than Giannis. I don't know why. Maybe it's the 12 3-pointers.
Yeah.
You know, Giannis had a great night at the line. They're both amazing. But how about this one then? Surprising insane box score? Peyton Pritchard. Came off the bench in early March versus the Blazers, scored 43 points, hit 10 threes in that game. 10 of 16 from deep. He added 10 rebounds and 5 assists. Now that to me is the most surprising box score. All these others, Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
That have either comparable box scores this season or at least in their careers. Pritchard? Yeah. I mean, Jesus. What is this guy, Austin Reeves? So we'll give it to Peyton Pritchard.
Hell yeah.
We'll swerve on it.
Yeah.
Because that one is surprisingly insane. All right, our next one. The sketch is Claire's Season 2, Episode 6.
Sometimes I put my dad in jib jab videos so he's alive again.
Okay. One of the weirder ones I pulled. But this one's AKA the Old Guy Still Got It Award. And maybe like the box scores, JD, I know who I'm ultimately going to give it to, but this was like a zoom out and just think about this. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry all rank in the top dozen of this season's scoring leaders at respectively 36 years old, 40 years old, and 37 years old.
Okay.
Which is ancient in NBA basketball.
Sure.
That's wild. Harden, he's old. He's having an all-star year. Clippers, one of those surprising teams of the year. DeRozan, he's fairly old. He still scores in bunches at the very least. Jimmy Butler is always a surprising old to me.
Same.
I don't know why.
Yep.
He's got youthful energy to me.
Yeah. We did a video of a tour of his house.
Yes.
He's like a 21-year-old.
Exactly. But he's old. He's still now, especially with Golden State, contributing to winning basketball. 39-year-old Chris Paul. He started every game for the Spurs. Al Horford, old. Anytime he plays, still a rock.
Yeah.
Is still going to be pretty instrumental, I believe, in the Celtics hoping to repeat or going very far. He'll play a part at least. So the whole point, old guy still got it. More now than ever. And LeBron wins this, though. He's 40 years old, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And still averages 24, 8, and 8, which is like nobody even like... We don't even talk about it, but because it's like, he's done it for 20 years. Who cares? But it's wild.
Yeah, totally. The weird thing about Al Horford is that he's always felt old to me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Some guys feel that way.
Yeah.
Steven
I think
Adams.
it's because he's so distinguished in a way, the way he carries himself.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
He feels like when he was 20, he felt like the wisest in the locker room.
Exactly.
You would go to him for advice,
right,
or help. Whether that was the case or not, I don't know. But I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange.
Does LeBron feel old to you?
Nah.
Oh, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well,
seeing as he's like the oldest.
Yeah, I know.
Do you think LeBron could do a 4-day bender in Palm Springs?
No. I've seen him. Well, I was gonna say, Durant was the one who couldn't really. He took one sip of beer during the champion.
Durant would have been asleep by 9 o'clock at the pool if he was hanging at the pool all day. Though we have seen him like going down water slides on like cruise ships and stuff.
Yeah,
he's a day drinker maybe.
Yeah.
A day smoker, day drinker.
Yeah. The only NBA player I can think of off the top of my head is Marc Gasol, because he chugged an entire bottle of wine.
You think Gasol could hang at Maddie's bachelor party?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Powell too, probably. Let's be honest.
I think Mark more than Powell.
Yeah.
I like that. He'd probably hold on. Let me put my brother to bed. Keep this party going. Put on some Spanish music. All right. Next sketch. Babysitter Hit and Run, Season 1, Episode 5.
I told you I was going to embarrass you, Barry. Now we're even. Come on. We can hang out and have a good time now.
This is the I Told You So award. I'll preface this by saying I get so much wrong when it comes to the predictions. So much. In fact, at one point, I will give you all of our over-under win totals, how we did. I think it's going to be fairly average. I don't think we knocked it out of the park this year. But every once in a while, there's some things I get right.
Okay.
This is the I Told You So award. I have 3, I think, pretty good nominees. The first one, I told you, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was going to win MVP. I told you. And I had good reasoning. Obviously, he was a runner-up last year, so he was very close. But I said it was basically like the Thunder are going to win so many games, he's going to be in the conversation right from the jump, and he probably won't relinquish it.
Yeah.
And Jokic, you may want to vote for him if you had a ballot. That's fine. I honestly could not care who wins because they're both elite, incredible players, but Shai is going to win it. And got that one right. And I swear, going back on the history of this show, it's the one award I get more than I get more right than I get wrong. MVP. Yeah. I have a decent run of, not every year, but like generally like calling my shot on MVPs.
I mean, Shai feels like a homer pick whenever. Yeah,
because I was saying years ago, oh, he'll be an all-star, and I was too early on that. Oh, he'll be all-NBA. I was too early on that.
Yeah.
But
you were right.
Got this one. Yeah. I said the Rockets would continue to improve on last year's record. I pounded the over. 43.5 was their win total. They easily hit that. This is a 50-win-plus team. And my reasoning, which I think I sort of nailed, was I had faith in Udoka to take this team defensively to another level. Last year, they were 9th in defensive rating, top 10, really good. Obviously trying to get into the play-in, came up short. And this year, top 3. So they took that jump. They're a team that no one really wants to see, I think, in the regular season at least, because they play so hard and they have so many guys. And I think Udoka's just a damn good coach for the right type of squad. And, obviously they got some vets in there as well, and guys that I love, in Van Vliet and Brooks, maybe again, playing the homer card in both of those cases, really. But yeah, got that one. Rockets.
Amazing.
Didn't sleep on them. And then the final I Told You So was that the new All-Star Game format would suck. This is my biggest win. Way back when it was announced.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to try this little mini tournament. Oh,
I still contend that it wasn't necessarily the format's fault.
Well, I don't think it helped.
It didn't help. You're right. It didn't help.
But I remember at the time saying, great, we're going to take one crappy All-Star game and now give you 3 smaller crappy All-Star games. And I'm sorry, that's what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, a part of it was the TNT broadcast. Like, what was the breakdown? It was like 40 minutes of basketball was played in like a 3-hour window.
Yeah, something like
it was something
crazy.
Embarrassing. And we had Mr. Beast, and we had Kevin Hart, and we had
tap dancing.
Music.
Just tap dancing.
Tap dance.
Got to make it appealing for the second screeners out there who are looking at their phones, the Gen Zers. Come on.
Unbelievable.
Guys. Yeah.
It drew very poor ratings. It was one of the lowest viewed All-Star games in history. Okay. We had, again, these little tournament games, shorter games, low target scores, with all the bullshit going on amidst it and around it. But the Rising Stars team being in it, it was, I think, really dumb, embarrassing. I mean, Draymond Green, he went full blast. Remember, he was like, "What are we doing? Like, why are these rookies playing in this like what was supposed to be a pretty esteemed game?"
It could have been G League.
It could have been G League.
What if that had happened?
Could have been G League, guys. Okay, in trying to make the All-Star game more competitive, they forgot to actually play basketball at all.
Right.
So they made it worse.
Yeah.
I am on record. I swear to God, they should just take a year or 2 off. Make us miss it. And then when they bring it back, we'll be like, oh, God, thank God it's back. Even if it's crappy.
Right.
We'll be like, oh, it's so great to see the guys playing together again.
Right.
But anyway, it didn't work. And I knew it wouldn't. And was I concerned that they would actually try hard and then it would be like, oh, the formats to gets all the credit? Yeah, there was a part of me, but it didn't do anything. So it didn't matter. All right. That's enough gloating here. Next sketch, Motorcycles, Season 1, Episode 2.
That's a nice motorcycle.
Simple one. But I believe one of the weirder bits in the I Think You Should Leave canon.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I watched the sketch, I did not like it. I didn't find it funny, and it is now one of my favorites.
Oh, so it grew on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the dumbest, most stupid sketch. A guy just going around pointing at nice motorcycles, and then he gets his little posse and all that. So this is the weirdest NBA bit award, and I have a few nominees. Getting NBA Centelled, whether it's a bit, I mean, it's a bit, but it was like, it sort of became a thing this year. You know, it nearly got me once. I caught it live on the show, or I did a quick, like, hold on, that can't be right. It got our guy Tassie once or twice.
Yeah.
Got him. He was a victim of getting NBA Centelled. It got a ton of other people in the media. I'm talking about this, obviously, fake Twitter account that makes it seem like it's real news.
Yeah.
And then remember it went away for a day or two, and then it was back as the parody account. So weird bit that just a weird account still to me.
Yeah.
Especially when there's like zero joke involved at all.
Right. Yeah.
It's literally just like, I'll just write some fake news here.
Yeah.
But it's not funny. So then we're like, oh, is that real? Oh, wait. Anyway.
I remember Lee used to get fooled by fake Wojs all the time.
Yeah.
Like trade deadline, and he would just yell at his screen like, Durant going to
Durant to the Raptors.
Yeah, exactly.
Durant to the Sonics. He's going back to the Sonics. Are you sure? Oh, hold on. It says whoosh. Right. Okay, so that one.
Okay.
This is a recent development that I do not like. I'm calling it a bit. NBA YouTube thumbnails going overboard. And here's what I mean by it. We have an example. This happened the other night. The Kings had a good game where their 3-star players like sort of all played well. And they put this on the graphic. For you audio podcast listeners, it's a photo of the 3 guys in Levine, Sabonis, and DeRozan. And then their cumulative box score of 99 points, 22 rebounds, and 16 assists. But what? Why are we doing this? And I know why we're doing it, because I stopped for a second and went, what the hell?
Yeah.
Who scored 99 points? Somebody had who had a 99, 22, 16 game? But then you're like, oh, no, it's the 3 guys. I don't like this, NBA. Not one bit. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it's clicky. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's clicky.
It's clicky. And I do a lot of our thumbnails. I get it. Yeah, we got to grab your attention.
Yep. I do them for Is This Good as well, and I hate myself sometimes.
Exactly. I don't like lying.
No.
Or really stretching the truth.
Yeah.
But I guess you gotta get creative, and that's what they're doing here. It's just a strange one to me.
Yeah.
Because they're at the point where they're like, well, we can't just put DeRozan had 37 or Levine had 37.
Yeah.
Don't like it. Dunk score, ruining my life. And what I mean by that is, it's my own dumb bit that I committed to the bit, and now I can't stop the bit. Every day on Blue Sky, I share the highest dunk score of the night.
Okay.
I share the clip.
Yeah.
I say what it is. I say who it happened to. I sometimes comment on it a little bit. I hate doing it now. I still get upset on their decisions with the dunk score. They still, half of them don't make any sense. So, of course, some do. You know, Anthony Edwards had a big dunk recently. That was like a 105. Yeah, it was a huge dunk. But like a lot of them are like, well, no, so many now. I'm like 65.4 was the dunk score of the night. And it's like just a normal dunk.
Right. Yeah.
So I hate myself for that one. And I guess it goes hand in hand with Blue Sky. This isn't a weird NBA bit. It's a bit I actually love, but I want to encourage you to check out. Are you on Blue Sky?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Trey Kerby, obviously on Blue Sky, but Trey Kerby has turned Blue Sky into a Tumblr account.
Oh. Okay.
He made a decision, I guess, when he started it. Like, he doesn't write things. He doesn't really even seem to like almost use it as promotion for the show or anything, or articles. Maybe like he did or does for X. Just images. Weird NBA related images.
Okay.
So that's why I call it Tumblr.
Oh.
Yeah. So Trey's turned his Blue Sky into Tumblr. Remember Tumblr?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you dabbling in Tumblr?
I had a Tumblr. Octodad.
That's what your account was?
Yeah. Because I with my wife, my 2 kids, and you guys, I had 8 kids, so I called myself Octo Dad.
What were you posting?
I didn't post anything. But I was like, yeah, maybe I'll start posting stuff, and I never did.
Do you know, I had my own J Skeets, and it was one of like a classic social media, like, I guess, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Who knows? But I started another one. It lasted for like maybe 3 weeks. Do you remember the infamous baseball card of Billy Ripken on the knob of his bat? Mm-hmm. It said F-face, F-U-C-K face, right? And then it was like, it got through the printers and then it became like a collector's item. I don't know why, but I thought it'd be funny to Photoshop that into other historical photos.
Okay.
So I did that for a while. Yeah, and that was its own Tumblr account.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
I know, but also why?
Yeah.
That bit I only continued for 3 weeks, like I said, but Tumblr. Anyway, Trey Kerby's Blue Sky account. It's basically Tumblr, so go check it out. It's very fun. Great photos.
So I should get onto Blue Sky and not post at all.
Yeah, sure.
It's just another one.
Yeah, okay, you don't really need to. All right, couple more awards here. This sketch, Prank Show, Season 2, Episode 1.
I don't even want to be around anymore.
Yeah. No one wants to be around anymore. Most depressing team award. This one's easy. It's the Phoenix Suns. It's the 1-2-3 Cancun Suns. They're over it. They're done. They've been depressing. I was fooled once again. I was fooled in the playoffs last year. I was fooled coming into the season that Budenholzer was going to change things. Nothing changed. And then you saw what they did at the deadline. In mid-January, I guess, they acquired Nick Richards and a second-round draft pick from the Hornets for Josh Okogie and 3 second-round draft picks. Okay. 1 week later, they did the very perplexing flipping their 2031 first-round pick to the Jazz for 3 less favorable picks in 25, 27, and 29. We sort of got excited for a second because we thought that implied that they were going to get Jimmy Butler, who wanted to go to Phoenix. We thought that agreement was all teed up. But in turn, it meant it was all hinging on Bradley Beal waiving his no-trade clause, and he wouldn't. And so instead, Phoenix turns around and uses their 2026 first-round pick to salary dump Yusuf Nurkic, also to the Hornets. And then they tried and failed to move Kevin Durant as well. They tried to trade everyone on their roster, and there was not a lot of takers. And it was like, that was the kiss of death. I remember talking about it. After they could not move KD and that broke that news, it was like, oh boy, this is bad. They rebounded for a second, then he got hurt, and it was a wrap.
Yeah.
They're depressing. You could pick the Sixers as well with the Joel Embiid injury. Sure. Mm-hmm. That happened. That at least they have a reason. This, they don't. They were healthy for the most part. They played, and they were still bad. Rough times for the Phoenix Suns. All right. 2 or 3 more. This sketch, Game Night, Season 1, Episode 3.
All right, this guy ran with Thaddeus Sphinx. He was one of the 8 balls in Mookie Kramer and the 8 Ball.
Okay, well, this is one of my favorite sketches.
Yep,
this is the Roy Donk sketch. We're talking Jazz. My favorite player is Amen Thompson, I think, right now in the league, but that's not like obscure by any means. That's not, Thaddeus Sphinx obscure. So this is tough because all you people listening and watching are generally sickos. So even like whoever it is, like deep on a roster, you're sort of going to know. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, I'm cheating a little bit. Just give me half of the Pacers roster, because Indiana Pacers are not like a popular team, obviously not a big market team, and they're probably not talked about enough for how good they've turned around their season. And again, these are all names sickos know, but like Obi Toppin, he's been amazing. Mm-hmm. Suddenly, him and Jarris Walker are like the new Splash Brothers, which is the weirdest thing going on right now. Those guys hitting threes. I love Andrew Nembhard because I'm a homer. I think he's eventually going to be on a championship-winning team. He'll be a pivotal part to a championship-winning team. Benedict Mathurin, another Canadian. People know, but he's like really starting to like, ooh, this guy does have star potential, because it looked like he did early and then it sort of dissipated, and now maybe that's back. Even the Aussie, Johnny Furphy, I think could be a good player one day once he gets the opportunity. So again, not obscure, not really random. I just like the Pacers team. Like, and I mean, obviously like their superstars too, but I really like their roster makeup. sort of the whole bunch. So I can't wait to see them in the postseason.
Sure.
Our next one, Supermarket Swap VR edition. This one's a quick one.
I'm really crossed up.
So this is the Can't Figure 'Em Out award. I'm crossed up. I'm really crossed up. I alluded to it earlier. It's the Wolves and it's the Bucks. It's really the Wolves, probably more than the Bucks even. And maybe that's a part of the conference they're in. I don't know what to do with them. I don't know what I'm going to do when it comes to predictions for play-in games or if they somehow get into the playoffs and who they'll be battling and whether it'll be a close series, whether they'll get waxed, whether they'll win. Like, I guess, it could be 2-7 matchup, Rockets-Wolves. I don't even know what the odds makers would think of that. That might be almost like a pretty evenly split series in terms of odds. I see why. I think I'll take Rockets, but I know I'll feel weird about it because Anthony Edwards has shown at times that he's got another level. They're just weird. It's a perplexing team. They've had a weird year, and that game last night was sort of a bit of a microcosm of that. So I'll go them. The Bucks, to a lesser extent. The Bucks have played their best here, even though they don't have Damian Lillard, but I do not think they're better than at least two of the top three teams in the Eastern Conference. That's going to be their issue. Running in, if they beat the Pacers, good. Could they beat the Cavs? Maybe. Could they beat the Celtics? I don't think so. So that's where I'm at with those two teams. I'm all crossed up. Final one. You Can't Skip Lunch, Season 2, Episode 1.
I'm just like the tiredest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah. The most exhausting NBA narrative award. I got a couple. I think anytime we were talking about, and we didn't talk about it a lot here, I guess in our defense on No Dunks, but the LeBron versus Stephen A. Smith crap that went on for like 3 weeks, and maybe is still going on, but I've definitely tuned it out at this point. Yeah, who cares? Shitting on MVP candidates to make your case for the other guy, I think you don't really need to do that. I think you can do a fine enough job building up your case for Shea or building up your case for Jokic or Giannis or Tatum, whoever you want. It becomes tiring, and I know we're equally to blame for that because we start talking about MVP 1 month into the season. So I get it. It just it runs its course, and by the time we get to this point, everybody's like, oh, Josh. It's like, how many more times can we just say the same thing over and over again, right? Oh, well, Jokic is 3-time MVP, but he's playing at his best ever. Look at who he has on his team. Oh, there's no help. And then, how are you not going to give it to a guy that's like basically turned into Michael Jordan when it comes to scoring and efficiency on a team that's like flirting with 70 wins and like blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah. They're both awesome. Shea is going to win. This is what's going to happen here. And that's fine.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But I'm ready for it to be over.
Yeah.
And my final one here, anytime we talk about, fixing the NBA and the conversation spins into season is too long, just got to cut it down to 60. I think Tass did it the other day, and I even got on him like, stop it. Stop saying it. We all agree, but it's never going to happen. It's just never going to happen. I truly believe that because of the money these guys make. So that one wasn't as bad this year, but anytime it comes up, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
As much as we would like it to, much as a lot of fans would like to. We got a lot of other things we can do before that impossibility because it's not happening.
Yeah.
So that's what I got. Do you have any other exhausting NBA narrative awards?
I mean, the All-Star
discourse.
Discourse
is, it ramps up before, during, and then after for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's just exhausting.
Yeah, it is. That's why I should just shut her down, Raj.
Yeah.
Get rid of it for a couple of years.
I had a stoned thought about that. We were talking about, the in-season tournament. You're talking about, shutting down for a couple of years. I say, let's do 3 weeks off in February.
Okay.
Right? And then we do like a Champions League, Worldwide Champions style league.
Okay.
Or like tournament. Like the 4 best teams in the NBA take on the 4 best in the NBL.
Wow.
And Euro, like a Champions League.
So
right?
a souped up version of the NBA Cup.
Exactly.
Cup.
But worldwide.
Yeah.
It happens in Europe or wherever. It could happen in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like that would be...
So, no, I was going to say almost what the NHL and that face-off,
Four nations
thing. But that's different because it's like their countries.
Yeah. And those 4 countries feed probably 70% of the NHL anyway, so that doesn't matter.
But that worked well for them.
Yeah. But you're not, if you're an Australian, you're on an NBA team who's playing, you're playing for your NBA team. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's like Man U playing against Real Madrid or whatever.
This guy sounds like Adam Silver over here, man.
Hey, man, I was in the room with him, and he was very excited about that, and he got me excited about that.
Oh, you were in the room with him in Paris.
Hey, but look.
Yes, you were.
We had way more fun in Paris at a meaningless Pacers Spurs game than we would have had at All-Star.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Yeah.
So let's take some of that magic and put it in All-Star. You want to make it a worldwide game, let's do it.
Okay, there you go.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, what about the travel?
After saying I'm tired of listening to people talk about how to improve the All-Star game, I throw another
a whole other thing. I love it. That's sports. That's sports talk in a nutshell. Let me whine and complain about being tired of talking about this while I continue to talk about it.
That's right.
Guilty. All right, so there it is. 9 random NBA awards inspired by I Think You Should Leave. Would love to hear other suggestions.
Yeah.
Give me the clip. And then give me the award. Maybe we'll make this an annual thing here for all I know. But let's call it there. My God, this was a long one. My voice was already shot from the long weekend. It's even more shot now after talking to you. And oh my God, I just realized I'm jumping on the Raptors show in about 10 minutes. So we really got to wrap this up. Thanks for joining us. And let's go to Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, karaoke songs cost extra when it comes to Johnny Karaoke's karaoke rental. Brace the day, people.